In this video, we are going to be creating logo animations inside of After Effects. I hope you enjoy as you watch. If you're new here, consider subscribing to the channel so that I can reach out to more people. And of course for the upcoming tutorials. So here we are inside of After Effects. We create a new composition using best settings, click OK, and I already imported the project file logo, so I'll drag this here. And then you can scale it up or down depending on the size of the logo. So I'll go to effects and presets, type in fill, and then double click on it to apply to the layer. And then from color settings, I change the color of this to white. And then I can just select the layer and then press Ctrl+Shift+C to pre-compose this. And then I call this logo, click OK. And now I can duplicate this, so Ctrl+D to duplicate, and then press enter to rename. I'll call this logo red. And now I'll go to layer and then select this one, auto trace. And then I'll be using this standard settings, click OK. And then as you can see, After Effects has made us a mask out of the logo automatically. So now I'll go to effects and presets and type in Saber. So this one is a free plugin. You can just type it in on Google and then you will find a free download for it. So I'll double click on it while having this layer selected, logo red, and then I change the preset to hardcore, and then change the glow color to red, and then change this glow intensity to 50, glow bias to 0.5, and then core size, change this to 2. And then we jump to customize core, change this to layer mask, and then we change the start size to 0, and then we jump to end offset, we change this to 50%, and then we change the end roundness to 1%. I uncheck this one, and then by going to this render settings, composite settings, I change this to transparent. So now we can see the logo. And now we can just select both of the layers and then press T for opacity and then set a keyframe on both of these. And now change it, set the value of opacity to 0. And now go to move by 10 frames, so shift page down, and then change it back to 100%. Now select the red one only and then go to 2 seconds, change the opacity for this one to 0. And now we can just go back to the beginning, and then we go to customize core, mask evolution, and then set a keyframe on mask evolution, change the value of it at the beginning to -100, set a keyframe. Now go to 2 seconds and then change this to 200, set another keyframe, and now we go back to 1 second, and then set a keyframe to core size, keep it at 2, and now go to 2 seconds and change this to 0.5. So now we can duplicate this, Ctrl+D to duplicate it, press enter to rename. I'll call this logo blue, and then I'll change the color of this to blue, click OK, and now I'll press U to view the keyframes, and then I'll need to change this ones to the opposite values. So mask evolution, go to 2 seconds and then change this to -100. I think I changed the 2 of them. So I'll press Ctrl+Z to undo. I'll select this one and then change it to -100, and then go to the beginning and then change this one to 200. And now I need to select the keyframes for each one of this, red and blue. So I press U for red to view all the keyframes, and then select mask evolution keyframes and go up, and while holding shift I select the other ones for mask evolution, and then press F9 to easy ease, go to graph editor and then grab the right side of it and then make an adjustment into the curves like that. And now we can have a look at the animation once it is rendered. For this one we are gonna create a solid, so right click, go to new solid, make sure to use the settings, click OK. So we have this white rectangle, and then we are gonna pre-compose this, Ctrl+Shift+C to pre-compose, and then make sure to have this selected, leave all attributes. This is important. So I'm gonna rename this to text, and now double click on it, and we can just select text tool and then type in your text. You can change the color of the text by going to the character settings. So over here you can change the color of it. And now I center this from align panel. Make sure to align it into the composition. I center it into the screen. You can resize it if you want to fit the rectangle that we have here, and I'm gonna press Ctrl+Alt+Home to center the anchor point to the text. So I go back to composition 1, and now I go to effects and presets, type in motion tile. So this one, double click on it to apply to the layer, and then we can change the output width. So this basically gives us duplicates, horizontal duplicates, and then this one, output height, gives us duplicates, vertical duplicates. And now we can go to double click on this composition and then hide this one, hide this solid. So we have this type of look, and we go back to effects and presets, type in CC sphere. So this one, double click on it to apply. So we have this look, and we are gonna play with some settings here. So we go to rotation and then change this to -30. We change this one to -12. Change this to X, Z, Y. We have this type of rotation, so we animate the Y rotation. Now we set a keyframe to it at the beginning, and then go to the end of the animation and give it a value of 4. So we have it rotating like that. And now we can go to effects and presets and then type in element. So we are gonna be using the plugin from Video Copilot for Element 3D. Double click on it, and now we go to custom layers, custom text and masks, and then we change this one to, but not here, we have to click on text and then change it to, and now I'll go to shading settings and then change this to 17 so that we have some more light going on. And now we can double click on text composition and then go back to effects and presets, type in elements. So we are going to be using the plugin from Video Copilot for Element 3D. Double click on it to apply to the text, and then we go to custom layers, custom text and masks. We change this path layer 1 to the text layer that we have. So just do it for our case. And now we go to scene setup. It will open a new tab for Element 3D. We click on extrude, and then we go to presets, bevels, and then we choose this one called gold stripes. So we have this type of look, and then we click on OK. So when we go back to composition 1, we have a different look to it. Now I just go to text composition and then import the logo that we had. So I import it, and then we can scale it down to fit the size of the screen. So about 8% for my case, so I move this here. And then I want to trace this. I want to make a mask out of this, so I go to layer, auto trace, and then I apply it to the new layer. I check this one, so it makes a new layer out of it. Here it is, and then I select the two of them and then press Ctrl+Shift+C to pre-compose, and then we can call this Nike logo. And now we can double click on it to enter, and then select this one that has auto trace, and then we go to effects and presets, type in element, double click on it, and then we choose custom layers, custom text and masks, and then we change this to the mask path layer 1, change it to the mask that we have. So we close the settings, and then we do the same process. Scene setup opens up a new tab. We click on extrude, and then we use from the presets, we use gold stripes. Click OK, and now we just want to align this one into the mask, so we can create a new camera. Right click, go to new camera, and then right click new, we create a null object, and then we parent the camera to null object. But before we turn this to 3D object, now we can parent a camera to it, so we can animate the camera easily. So press P for position, we can animate the position of it. So I take the Z position down, and I might fast forward this video until I animate this completely to fit to the screen. Like that. And now we need to animate this into the mask. So we need to make this fit the mask here. Now let's have a look at it. If we zoom in, so here the full text over here doesn't show up, so we play with the output width. so I'll keep it at 700. Now we can see it. And now I want to animate the face here, face. So I go to the beginning, click on it, set a keyframe on it at the beginning, and then I go to the end of the animation and then change this to 6. And if you want to see what this one does, so I'll make this here something like that. It does this type of animation, so I'll hit Ctrl Z to undo, so we can have a look at it. I changed the size of this to 50, and now I can just move this over here. Now we select text tool and then type in our text. And now we change the position, and then we can do the same thing with the plugin. We do the same process. And then we select the same preset. Click OK. Now we need to align this. So we also use the same process by creating a camera. And then we create a null object. We parent this. We make null 3D and then parent this to the null. And now we can animate this. We can change the values rather than animating, so I align this somewhere around here. And while holding Shift, we select from these points and we can make the text bigger. So we can then move this. I'll have it here. Now to import the logo, so we go back to project panel and then import the logo here. Oops, we import the logo, and then by dragging from these points while holding Shift, we can scale it up, and with Move tool we can move it until we see that it looks good. So looking fine, and then we can create a light, so right click, go to new, and then choose light. Make sure it's a parallel light, set intensity to 40%. Click OK, and then we need to find a good point of interest for it. So we open the settings for transform, set a keyframe on both of this, position and point of interest, and then we can just play with the settings to find a good point of interest. So now we move by 5 seconds. Let's see what 5 seconds looks like. Set another keyframe for position, and then we animate this just like that. And now we can have a look at it. Looking fine. And now we can just make this loop, so we alt click on position and then type in this expression. So loop out, and then left and right brackets, like parentheses even, and then we will have that looping. So we get the light animation again after it ends. For this one, we already got the PNG file, so we drag this here, and then we press S, we scale it down to 50%, and then we go to effects and presets, type in CC cylinder, apply it to the layer, so this one it is. So you can see what this does. It turns it into a cylindrical shape, and then we can go back to effects and presets, now add grow bounce, so this one, apply it to the layer, and then we drag this up above, and then we increase the value of it, so as you can see it opens it up. So I'll have this at 2000, and then we can go to rotation settings, and then we need to animate the Y rotation, so we set a keyframe to it at the beginning, and then we go to 3 seconds. We set another keyframe, so I press U to view the keyframes here, and then set another keyframe, press N to set an endpoint to the work area, and now we want to animate the Y rotation at the beginning, so we decrease the value of it, like you can see how it animates. And now as I move the time indicator, you can see how the animation is, and we want to change the render to outside, and now it will be animating from the outside, just like it has some type of mask to it. And now we select the last keyframe, press F9 for a smoother landing, we easy ease, and then go to graph editor, and then we pull this to the left, so we'll have a smoother animation. And now we can go back to effects and presets, add spherize, so this one, double click on it to apply to the layer, and then we increase the radius to make it look like as it is on a glass, so it's more rounder. So if we want to give this a motion blur effect, it will probably not work. So we go back to effects and presets and type in force motion blur, CC force motion blur, apply it, and you can see what it does. But to render this out, I will need to cut the video and show you, because it will force my PC as well. It's a heavy effect. And so this is what it will look like if we add a background to it and then change its color to white.